So ESPN just released their all NFL quarter century team, best 53-man roster, and coaches. A list of the best players from the year 2000 up until now. And I got thoughts on some of the positions. 3 Panthers made it, so shouts out to that. We got 3 Carolina Panthers on this list. I agree with the QB choices and receiver choices, but we got to talk about the running backs. Because I grew up in a certain era, of course. We all grew up in different eras. So I do have a problem with the running back list. And the fact that also Patrick Willis was left completely off of this list. Now that's wild. Let's get into it.
Tell me what they wanna see me for. Hit me out, here we go. What's the report? Tell me what they wanna see me for. Hit me out, here we go. What's the report? Tell me what they wanna see me for. Hit me out, here we go. What's the report? Tell me what they wanna see me for. Hit me out, here we go. What's the report? Bring it to you live.
Welcome to the Reed Report. To all my Reed reporters out there, appreciate you guys for taking this time to hear me out. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for me. We are trying to get to 2,300 subs and go on from there, so I highly appreciate it. If you do enjoy the content, again, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the notification bell when you subscribe, leave a comment, share, and let's get into this list. So the NFL released this list of their top 53, their 53-man roster of the past quarter century. So let's start with what they got right. Again, I did mention that there were 3 Panthers on this list, and we're going to get there. I started watching football back in 2005. That's when I was getting into it, and I really started to follow everything and divisions, how schedules are made, and things like that in like 2007. And so, of course, I grew up on Tom Brady. That is the quarterback, the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. So you're doing a list of quarter century team. Tom Brady is your QB1. So there is no no debate on that he's on the list. Some people don't think he's the GOAT. There's some that got Patrick Mahomes. There's some that still say Joe Montana, but it's Tom Brady, right? So, of course, you see the resume, 89,214 passing yards. He should just come back to just crack that 90,000 mark. 649 touchdowns, 7-time Super Bowl champion. Of course, last played with the Buccaneers where he won the Super Bowl in 2020. And a 3-time MVP, 6-time All-Pro. No debate there. And I do agree with this one. I agree with Peyton Manning being on this list as well. I think he makes the 53-man roster of quarter century players, of all the players that has played, all the quarterbacks that has been in the league. Peyton Manning is there. And yeah, I don't think there's any debate on this one, because you also got Patrick Mahomes. No debate on this one either, because yeah, you got Aaron Rodgers, but what has Aaron Rodgers ever done that Peyton Manning has never done? What has Aaron Rodgers done that Mahomes has never done? Mahomes, they've accomplished more than Aaron Rodgers, more than Ben Roethlisberger, more than who else can we throw out there? Drew Brees, of course, Phillip Rivers. I do like Phillip Rivers, but we know Phillip Rivers has never won the big one. Eli Manning, of course. So yeah, they got the quarterback list all the way right here. There's no debate on the quarterback list. And Mahomes has done this, what are we talking, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And this is going to be his 8th season coming up. So 7 seasons. And this is Mahomes' resume. 32,352 yards. 245 passing touchdowns. He was an MVP his first year starting. 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time MVP, 3-time All-Pro. He's been to the AFC Championship game every season he's been in the league. He's been to 5 Super Bowls. He's won 3 out of 5. So yes. And then, of course, like they got right here, there's an argument for Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees here, but we believe Mahomes deserves a spot on this team despite his relative lack of MVPs or first team All Pro selections through 8 seasons. Yes, definitely. It's definitely Patrick Mahomes over those two. His QBR for his career postseason included is 75, who trails Manning, but ahead of Brady, Brees, and Rodgers. And from the unbelievable throws to his mistake avoidance to the postseason heroics, we're choosing Pete Mahomes over Rodgers and Brees. I agree 100% on this one. Okay, so this is where, I had the issue with. Look, football peers, they'll see this and they'll say, look, young fella, you didn't watch Priest Holmes play, so we're going to give you a pass and we're going to correct you. And I'm open to hearing that. But Priest Holmes is their RB1. And let's hear ESPN's thoughts on this. So he played for the Ravens from 97-2000, Chiefs from 01-07. Again, like I said, I started watching football in 05. Resume since 2000, 256 all-purpose yards, 85 all-purpose touchdowns, one-time Super Bowl champion. That was, of course, with the Ravens. One-time Offensive Player of the Year, 3-time All-Pro. Yes, Holmes is our RB1 over anyone else. Think back to the turn of the century, they say, when Holmes emerged from the Baltimore bench to drive the powerful offense of Dick Vermeil Chiefs using a dynamic combination of rushing and receiving, so he could do it all. Other running backs might have had longer peaks, but none of them can match the 3-year period that Holmes had from 01 to 03. But that's, again, this is just you talking about a period. But there's a running back who, of course, I'm going to name who, and there's two, and I think that ESPN mentioned him in his article, who had the longevity and who had, a better career. So from 01 to 03 is what they're measuring. In the advanced DYAR metrics for total value, these seasons ranked 15th, 2nd, and 3rd among all running back seasons since 1978 respectively. So this is what Schultz said. They talked about 01 to 03, so he won the Super Bowl this season. He only had 588 yards. So he only had 4 seasons in which he rushed for over 1,000. And they were, these 3 seasons, big time seasons. So they got a point. It's an argument. And what did he have here? Oh, wow. Okay. This changes a lot. 27 touchdowns until we get to the other guys. 21 touchdowns. 8 touchdowns. Wow. And then in the receiving game from 01 to 03, yeah, he has a case. 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. He was catching the ball, returning. That wasn't his thing. Of course, passing, blah, blah, blah. But he definitely, I definitely see why they put him on this list. Again, I'll be the first to admit I'm not familiar with Priest Holmes. I didn't grow up watching him. But I'm seeing the stats in real time, and maybe I'll go watch some film after this. Panthers from 2017 to 22. 49ers from 22 to present time. Resume since 2000. 10,853 all-purpose yards. 81 all-purpose TDs. One-time Offensive Player of the Year. 4-time All-Pro. As the best receiving back of the past 25 years, McCaffrey needs to be included on this roster. He averages 47 receiving yards per game, which is more than anyone else with at least 500 carries during that span. But he's not only a receiving back. What makes McCaffrey special is that he has maintained 4.7 yards per carry over his career, 14th best among running backs this quarter century. So McCaffrey is on this list, and I'm not mad at it. Now, I know a lot of people are going to see this and be like, bruh, how is he on this list over who I'm going to name and the other who I'm going to name? And people may have other names. They may have other people that they're going to throw out there. But there are 2 running backs who are not on this list, and it's going to be heavily debated. So McCaffrey's on the list as RB2, Priest Holmes as RB1, and then your RB3, you got Derrick King Henry. You got Derrick Henry. Played for the Titans. I was actually, I mean, I shouldn't be too shocked because Derrick Henry is that guy, and I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be a top 5 back of all time, especially if he gets a Super Bowl. But I was sort of shocked that he was on this list, of course, over the guys that I'm thinking of and the guys that, you know who they are. We're about to read it in a second. Titans from 2016 to 2023, presently with the Ravens, resume since 2000. 13,074 all-purpose yards, 111 all-purpose touchdowns, 1-time Offensive Player of the Year, 4-time All-Pro, and he was a top contender in that MVP conversation last year. So here it is right here. King Henry gives this team a power rusher in the ground game. But style aside, Henry's production really earns him his spot on this list. His 4.9 yards per carry puts him well ahead of Adrian Peterson and LaDainian Tomlinson, whom we also considered in the spot. His 2.4 yards after contact per carry make him number 1 among all running backs with at least 500 rushes since 2000. And he has a very low fumble rate. So that right there goes to tell me their knock pretty much on Adrian Peterson, because Adrian Peterson, and we got to go look at his stats, because this is basically, you know what I'm saying, I had an issue with Priest Holmes because I'm not familiar with Priest Holmes, but just because I'm not familiar, that doesn't mean he doesn't deserve it. I mean, I didn't grow up watching Joe Montana either, right? So, Adrian Peterson fumbles. 42 fumbles in his career. So let's just go back real quick. We saw the 42 fumbles, 17 fumbles. I'll zoom in and let you guys see it, but look, only 17 times he has fumbled the football, and he lost 8. So let's go back to Adrian Peterson. So Adrian Peterson has lost 25 fumbles with 42. So yes, the fumble rate, he's a power back, but look at the numbers. Look, and this is where I step in, because 07 is when he came in, and this is when I really got into football. This is when I was really into it. I remember Adrian Peterson. This was rookie year AP right here. 12, 5.6, 13. I remember rushing for 297 against a good Chargers team. And then he followed that up with 1,700. And then, look, Brett Favre came around and they were Super Bowl contenders this year. So the rushing yards dropped a little bit, but the rushing TDs went up by 8. Rushing TDs went up, and then they weren't very good in 2010. But of course, Adrian Peterson was always elite. And then there was 2011. He got injured. Only played 12 games and rushed for 970, 12 touchdowns. And then he came back after an ACL tear, right? And won the MVP. He rushed for 12 touchdowns, and he ran the Minnesota Vikings into the playoffs that year. He ran them into the playoffs that year. That was MVP AP right there. One of only like 4 running backs to win MVP since 2000. If we're going back there, who you got? Marshall Faulk, LaDainian Tomlinson, Adrian Peterson, and Sean Alexander. 4 running backs. Every other position has been the quarterback. I might be biased, but I don't see how AP is not on this list. And then we got to just talk about LaDainian Tomlinson real quick. We got to talk LT, who was also MVP, 14-2 season right here with the Chargers, 1,800 yards, 28 touchdowns. What were his fumbles like? 21 fumbles and 8 losses. I think 21 was his number as well, so that's interesting. Not really. Anyway, but consistently rushing over 1,000 yards, well over 1,000. Well over 1,000. Consistently over 1,000. 28 touchdowns. MVP season. Again, I get their point. And then in the passing game, he was no slouch either. And he was a thrower. Yeah, people forget. He was a thrower of the football. 7 passing touchdowns in his career. 7 passing touchdowns in his career. What did he do his MVP season? He threw for 2 touchdowns. So that's 30 touchdowns, 33 touchdowns in his MVP year. So somebody drop in the comments about what it is about, and I saw the 3-year stretch with Priest Hall. I saw it with Priest Holmes, but you're gonna have to. I need somebody to talk to me as to how AP or LT isn't on this list. Some people say, hey, you got to take McCaffrey off as well and Priest. But yeah, we're gonna need to really talk about this one. This is the one that's really going to be talked about. So let me know. We could probably do a follow-up depending on the comments. And the last position I really wanted to talk about that I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the video was the linebacker position. 5 linebackers, and of course, RB1 is Ray Lewis, no doubt about that. You got Ray Lewis, who's a Super Bowl champion, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 28.5 sacks, 15 forced fumbles, 24 interceptions, 2-time Super Bowl champion. Of course, Ray Lewis is on this list, duh. And then you got Bobby Wagner, who's also on the list, a legend. Bobby Wagner, who won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, was he made some noise. He's still with the Commanders, and he could get another one this year. Washington should be set up to be favorites to make some noise and get back and even further than what they did last year. So shouts out to Washington. And shouts out to Bobby Wagner, 35 sacks, 7 forced fumbles, 13 interceptions, 11-time All-Pro, part of that Legion of Boom. Did we talk about Ray Lewis All-Pros? 7-time All-Pro. So Bobby Wagner, more All-Pros, right? 11-time. Bobby Wagner came in the league in 2012, still going. And then you got Brian Urlacher. 41.5 sacks, 11 forced fumbles, 22 interceptions, 1-time Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time All-Pro. Levante David. This right here is where. Okay. Devontae David. Been in the league since 2012. Same team, Buccaneers, since 39 sacks, 31 forced fumbles, 13 interceptions. All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, 3-time All-Pro. 3-time All-Pro. And then you got my guy, Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly retired early as well, dealt with a lot of concussions in his career. 12.5 sacks, 18 interceptions, 1-time Defensive Player of the Year, 7-time All-Pro. Kuechly career burned so hot over his short 8-year span. The only one of those seasons in which he did not reach the Pro Bowl. I was about to say, wait, they didn't make the Super Bowl every year and earn first round and second team All-Pro honors. It was 2012. He has won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Kuechly, 9.2 tackles per game and 0.15 interceptions per game, or second and third most of any linebacker in this century, respectively. And I'm a Panther fan. Kuechly's on the list. I ain't mad at it. Derek Brooks on the practice squad of this list. But my question is, how is Patrick Willis not on this list? He had a short career as well. What are we talking? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Played the same amount of years as Luke Kuechly from 2007 to 2014, straight out of Ole Miss. Defensive Rookie of the Year, 5-time first team All-Pro. Patrick Willis didn't even have practice squad for him. Second team All-Pro in 2008, so 6 All-Pros, 7 Pro Bowls. So he was in the Pro Bowl every year of his career except his last. 2-time NFL solo tackle leader, 2-time NFL combined tackle leader, NFL 2010s decade. You look at his numbers, 20.5 sacks, 16 forced fumbles, 5 fumble recoveries, 53 pass deflections, 8 interceptions, defensive touchdowns. He got 2 of those. How is Patrick Willis not on this list is the question. Patrick Willis did more, I would argue, honestly, than Luke Kuechly in his short time, but I'm also looking at, Levante David. How did he also make the list over Patrick Willis? And how is Patrick Willis not even in the conversation, even on the practice squads? And then coaching staff, you got Bill Belichick, Kyle Shanahan as the offensive coordinator, Wade Phillips, oh gosh, Super Bowl 50 all over again, as the defensive coordinator, Dave Tubb, special teams coordinator. So that right there is your list. And of course, I forgot to mention my guy. Of course, I forgot to give a shout out to the other Carolina Panther. Oh, Aaron Donald made the list, of course. One of the greatest football players to ever play the game. Julius Peppers. Before we get up out of here, we got my guy Julius Peppers. Played for the Panthers, then the Bears, then the Packers. 159.5 sacks, 51 forced fumbles, 6-time All-Pro. No player recorded more sacks this quarter century than Peppers. There's a fair critique that his numbers are a product of longevity, but he also had almost 20 more sacks than anyone in this span, and in a higher plus EPA than any other player since 2001, period. One reason he led the latter category over star linebackers who are favorite in this stat is because Peppers' 51 forced fumbles were the most since 2000. Honorable mentions, practice squad, Michael Strahan and TJ Watt. So that is the list. Those are my issues with the list. Let me know what you guys think. Mainly that running back position that I just can't, I just couldn't shake. So let me know what you guys think about that. Priest Holmes, school me on that, if you grew up watching Priest Holmes, if you watch Priest Holmes even in your adulthood or whatever. Did Patrick Willis get a raw deal here? Should he have been on the list as well? And whatever it is that I missed, I know I didn't cover everything, but I really wanted to talk about the running back position and just go over, look at some of the positions in general. The receivers I'm completely good with, but the running back position is the one that got me. But be sure to subscribe to the channel. Again, we're trying to crack 2,300 subs, so be sure, if you like the content, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think, and we will see you on the next one. Y'all take care. Peace.
Tell me what they wanna see me for. Hit me out, here we go. What's the report? Tell me what they wanna see me for. Hit me out, here we go. What's the report? Tell me what they wanna see me for. Hit me out, here we go. What's the report? Tell me what they wanna see me for. Hit me out, here we go.